It's fine. Everything's fine. I need to get that on a t-shirt. Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today I have a book haul. So this is my November book haul. Quite a bit to show you. Everything's fine. Okay, I do have 4 books that were sent to me by publishers, so I will show you those and then everything else I bought. So yeah. All right, so this first one from a publisher was sent to me by Berkeley, and this is a book that comes out on December 3rd, and that is Meg and Joe, and this is by Virginia Contra. This is actually a contemporary retelling of Little Women, and it features Meg and Joe as the main characters, and they are living, I think, in Manhattan. Yeah, New York City. And they have like modern jobs. So it's set in today's time frame, but it's Meg and Joe from Little Women. So I think this would be very interesting. I think it's going to be adorable. I'm actually planning to take this to Disney with me and read while I'm there on vacation over Thanksgiving and stuff, so that I can do a review for you when I get back, because I do have an assigned date to do a review, but it looks adorable, and I'm going to need something like just cute and whimsical to help myself decompress from Disney, because it's going to be very overwhelming. But I'm really excited to see what this is all about, and I just think it's going to be so cute. This next one was sent to be by Knopf. Knoph, Knopf. I don't even know how to say that. I'm going to say Knopf. This one comes out in January. This is called Wildfire by Carrie Mack. And this is a young adult book. It's pretty short, actually, too. And this follows 2 friends who go on a lot of different adventures together. And then their latest one is that they go camping or hiking in this mountain area. One of them ends up getting injured pretty badly, and they end up a little bit stranded because of that injury. And then they are faced with some wildfires happening all around them. So they really find themselves in a bad situation. And yeah, so I've heard good things about Carrie Mack as an author, and I'm excited to see what this one is going to entail. But this one comes out January 28th. All right, so this next one comes out on January 7th, and I'm very excited about this one. This is one I actually entered to try to get a copy of it on Facebook, and I ended up getting one, and I was very happy because this concept sounds really interesting, and that is The God Game. This is by Danny Tobey, and this examines like a virtual reality type of thing. So definitely kind of Ready Player One vibes for sure. Not necessarily the competition part of it, that type of thing, but definitely where this virtual reality is putting you into almost a game where if you lose, you're going to die, and you are kind of being forced to play it. So I'm wondering if it's a little bit of a dystopian type thing that includes a virtual reality, but I'm really intrigued by it when I read the synopsis for it and saw it posted. So I was very happy to be able to get a copy of this one. This one was sent to me from St. Martin's Press. And the next one was sent to me from Atria Books, and that is The Light After the War by Anita Abriel. This one comes out February 4th, and this one is actually a post-war book. So this takes place in 1946, so it's after World War II, and it follows 2 women who, as girls, they were kind of misplaced, I guess you could say, or they were able to escape from going to Auschwitz or anything. They are both Hungarian, I believe, and they were able to escape somehow. I'm not sure how all that happens, but they end up living on an Austrian farm, and they're kind of living in hiding. And then when it's safe for them, they branch out, and I believe they end up going to America. They figure out a way that they can get to America. And while they're living over there, some things start happening, and they're kind of forced back into their past, and they're forced to revisit some things and revisit some people to try to figure some things out. So when Atria reached out to me about this one, I definitely took it because I love World War II historical fiction, and this one is going to be kind of the aftermath of World War II, so I'm really interested in that. I'm wondering if it's going to be a dual timeline. It might, but yeah, so I'm excited to read this one. Okay, and all the rest of these books I bought myself. Okay, so let's talk about this next one. I got this on eBay. The reason I got it on eBay is because it is a series that I'm collecting that I'm planning to start soon. I still haven't started it yet, which is kind of killing me a little bit, but I am going to be reading through this series very soon, so I wanted to have all 6 books ready to go, and I have been collecting them in a certain edition. However, the third book I cannot find in this edition anywhere. Book Depository, last I checked, which was yesterday, still did not have it in stock. And the only place I could find it was on eBay. And this is the second time I've tried to order this book in this edition because that's the picture that they had on it. And it came in a different edition. The first one that came was a mass market paperback. And I was like, no, thank you. And it was really beat up, even though it said good condition. And I was like, mm-mm. So I got my money back on that one. And then I ordered another one. Again, it has this edition on there. And it came, it's not that edition, but it is the same size, like, you know, it's the same size as those, and it's a really good condition. It's just not the same edition of it. And so I'm trying to get over it. Everything's fine. I Faint Cold Fear by Karen Slaughter. So I'm just going to keep this one and let it be what it is. It's totally fine. It's the same size again, so it'll match that way. It's just going to be like a dark spine where all those up there are white. It's fine. It's real. This is the biggest first world problem I've ever heard myself talk about. I just got frustrated because they kept sending me the wrong thing. And I'm like, well, don't have that as your picture if that's not what you're going to be sending me. You know what I mean? So it was a little frustrating, but I have this, I'm keeping it. It's totally fine. It is a bigger paperback that I enjoy, and it's floppy, so it's totally fine. But yeah, I do want to start this series very soon. This is the Grant County series number 3. So I have them all now. Oh gosh, but I need to get started on it big time. All right, this next one I picked up at Ollie's, which is a discount store that is close to my house. And I found 2 books there actually. And it's been a while since I've been in there. They do have a pretty good book section. However, it's extremely unorganized. So if I go in there looking for books, I have to like go when I have time because I'm literally like flipping through every single book to see. They separate it by, you know, like fiction and nonfiction and stuff like that, but it's not organized at all in any other way. So it takes some time to go through, but I did find a copy of Dry. This is by Neil Shusterman and Jared Shusterman. And this one, I believe, deals with a society in Southern California that's dealing with a drought, like severe, it's changing humanity. That's how bad it is. I've heard amazing things about it. And my friend Candace actually just had told me that it was one of her favorite, most recent reads, and she absolutely loved it. And so I was like, you know what? I need to get that book. And I put it on my wish list. And then I ended up finding it at Ollie's. So it was awesome. But yeah, $3.99 for this. Another one that I grabbed at Ollie's, and this one was $4.99, so a little bit more, but it's one that is a more recent release, and it is something that has been on my radar, and that is Hunting Charles Manson. This is by Liz Wheel. And it is the quest for justice in the days of Helter Skelter. So I think this is like just really revisiting this crime of Charles Manson and when he was terrorizing Southern California, and kind of goes into more details about the case and what went wrong and what went right and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But I've heard good things about it, and it has come out recently. So to see it there was pretty cool. And I went ahead and grabbed it. But yeah, another serial killer I'm mildly fascinated in. And these next 2 books I found at a used bookstore that I go to not as often as I should. I should go there more. Problem is I always find something. But it's basically a half price books, but it's an independent store that's here. And you can go in and take in books for store credit. And then any book that they have is half off the original cover price. So it basically is a half price books. They only do paperbacks though. They don't do any hardbacks there. So there's that, which that doesn't bother me because, you know, I prefer paperbacks. And yeah, so I went and I took in a big stack of books for some store credit, which I got. And I ended up, while they were like ringing all my stuff up and going through my box, I found A Storm of Swords and A Feast for Crows by George R.R. Martin, books number 3 and 4 in the Game of Thrones series. And these are the editions I'm collecting. It's a movie or like a TV show tie-in type of thing, and they're glossy versus the matte. So I'm going off the first one that I purchased before when I bought it, and then I bought the second one as well. And then when I went in, they had books 3 and 4, and I was like, well, I have to get them, right? I got both of these for $9 and they're huge. Like this one especially. Oh my gosh, this thing is ginormous. So yep, I went ahead and got them. They did not have the 5th book. So I'm going to keep my eye out, but next time I go, maybe they'll have the 5th one. But every time I go into that store, and I've gotten all of these editions at that store, all 4 that I have. All right, this next set of books, I went a little crazy at Goodwill one day because I just found a lot that I really was interested in. This first one here that I picked up is one that was a suggestion from one of you guys. It was on my subscriber suggestions wish list on Amazon. And I saw it at the store and I went, I'm pretty sure that's like someone told me to read that. And then I looked at my wish list. I was like, yep, someone did. So that is The Red Umbrella. This is by Cristina Diaz Gonzalez. And I believe this is a historical fiction. And yeah, so one of you guys suggested it to me. I added it to my wish list immediately and now I have it. This next one is book number 1 in a series that I'm very interested in. It's actually a zombie series, which I don't read zombie books. I don't know if have I ever read a zombie book? I don't know. I don't think I have, but that is Rot and Ruin. This is by Jonathan Mayberry. I've heard really good things about Jonathan Mayberry as an author, and this is just one of his series that he writes. And so when I found the first one for pretty cheap, I went ahead and grabbed it, and it's a good copy. But yeah, it is a zombie book. Okay, so the next one is a historical fiction, and it is called Never Home. This is by Laird Hunt. And this one it follows the war, but it follows the Civil War. And I believe it is a woman who dresses up as a Union soldier and plays a part in the war undercover as a man, basically, because women could not be in the military or fight back then. So definitely interesting. I was interested. It's pretty short. So yeah, I want to read more about the Civil War though. This next one that I picked up is one I've never heard of before, but it immediately kind of caught my attention, and that is called The Ship. This is from Antonia Honeywell, and I'm not sure like when this takes place. I want to say it's when the London fires happened, which was a very, very long time ago. But it follows a young girl named Laia, and chaos is happening. I believe they lived in London when London was burning, so civilization was kind of like freaking out and going crazy and everything. And then on her 16th birthday, her father decides it's time for them to leave, and he has planned his own escape route by building a ship, and it can only save about 500 people. That's as many people as can be on the ship safely. So they get people onto the ship and then they set sail so they can get away from all the chaos. But I believe more horrific things end up happening on this ship. And I've never heard of it, but it sounds really interesting to me. And there's a lot of rave reviews like up here and on the back here and stuff too. So yeah, we'll see. But I think it's a little bit more of a horror type. All right, so this next one is a thriller that I've never heard of and haven't heard of this author either. But that is If You Knew Her by Emily Elgar. And this one follows a young woman who is struck by a car on a hit and run while she's out walking her dog. And she goes to the intensive care unit, and she is there not sharing a whole lot about herself and kind of being very secretive about it. Then one of the nurses think that she looks a little bit familiar, so she tries to figure out who she really is and what's going on and why she's keeping all these secrets and won't tell them anything. There is another man who's a patient on the same ward as her, and he is what they say has locked-in syndrome. He can hear and see everything around him, but he cannot speak. And he understands, it's as soon he comes to understand that Cassie's life is still in danger, but he can't really communicate that to anybody. So I think it's going to be kind of like a struggle with that. So that sounded kind of interesting, and I'm always down for a new thriller. And this next one that I picked up at Goodwill is one that I've heard of before. It's actually an author that I have another one of his books. I just haven't read anything by him yet, but I've heard good things. And that is Rules of Civility by Amor Towles. So this is set in 1937 on New Year's Eve in New York City. And there is a chance encounter between Katie and a man named Tinker. And I believe they form a connection that night, and you follow them and their relationship and her kind of coming up in Manhattan society back then and what it was like to be there. I've heard good things about it. So yeah, but this is definitely an author I want to give a try. This next one I actually picked up at Sam's because when I go to Sam's, I look at books because they have a pretty decent selection, and sometimes I even get one. I did one day. This is The Secret Life of Aaron Burr by Susan Holloway Scott. So Burr, his little secret wife, Theodosia. So this follows that whole thing. And obviously this is historical fiction. It's not a nonfiction or anything, but it sounds interesting. And I definitely want to read all the little Hamilton books that are coming out, and Aaron Burr was definitely part of that. And he is a fascinating person to me. So I would love to read a book with him as a character in it, even if it's fiction, and just kind of see what all this is about. So I grabbed it. And last but definitely not least, because this is my most anticipated book of the entire year, and it's in my hands. Oh, The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. Okay, so Erin Morgenstern wrote The Night Circus, one of my favorite books as well. And when I heard that she was coming out with another book, I was like, finally, we've been waiting like a decade for this book, and I'm not kidding. Oh my gosh, so excited for this. And I have heard amazing things from people who have already read it. So I have very high hopes for this one. This follows a magical library, and after that I stopped listening. I was like, say no more. Magical library, Erin Morgenstern, I am in. I am so excited for this book. She's a thick one. I love it. Also, the naked hardback of this, you guys, look at how beautiful that is. Oh, and even the spine is really pretty. Just, oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah. And the end papers, yep, hello, I am here for this. I'm living for it. As soon as it came in the mail, I was like, oh. So I pre-ordered this one, definitely. As soon as it was available, I pre-ordered it, and I'm just so excited. I love her writing, and I've heard it's very, very similar in this one, and I know this is probably going to take my breath away. All right, guys, so that's it. Those are some books that I have brought into my house recently. Some were sent to me, and a whole bunch I bought. I really did. I went a little crazy, but oh well, it is what it is. Let's try to find some room somewhere. Okay, guys, let me know down below if you guys have read any of these. Let me know if I should pick any of these up sooner rather than later, all that good stuff. And I will see you again soon. Hope you have a great day.